After 1975, the war ended and Vietnam was unified. But across the Pacific Ocean, the United States, the former enemy, the world's most powerful nation, remained in the minds of many Vietnamese people. Not through bombs or bullets, but as a land both feared and admired. So from 1975 to 2025, how have Vietnamese people viewed America? The answer isn't simple. It's changed with time, with generations, and with global transformations. Studio Microphone, Phase 1, 1975 to 1995, America as the Enemy and a Promised Land. In the years right after the war, America was portrayed as the aggressor, the imperialist power that lost to Vietnam's spirit of resistance. Yet for many in the South, the United States was more than a former foe, it was a dream. A place of safety, wealth, and a chance to rebuild after upheaval. Hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese fled the country by boat, risking everything to reach the U.S. From this, the Vietnamese American community was born, rooted in exile, survival, and memory. Studio Microphone, Phase 2, 1995 to 2010, America as a symbol of development and freedom. In 1995, Vietnam and the U.S. normalized diplomatic relations. And with that, perceptions began to shift dramatically. America was no longer just the enemy, but a symbol of modernization, individual liberty, and opportunity. People watched Hollywood films, bought American goods, studied American English, and dreamed of sending their children abroad. At that time, the U.S. was idealized as a land of democracy, diversity, and upward mobility. Scholarship programs, like Fulbright and Viet Abroader, helped open the doors to the American dream for a new generation. Studio Microphone, Phase 3, 2010 to 2025, a more realistic, complex view. As the internet expanded, Vietnamese people gained more access to global information. And the image of the U.S. became more three-dimensional, not just a land of success, but also one facing deep challenges. They saw reports of racial discrimination, mass shootings, political polarization, and social inequality. Yet, America remained a top destination. Many young Vietnamese continued to study, work, and settle in the U.S. They no longer saw America through rose-colored glasses, but still believed in its core values: freedom, innovation, and possibility. At the same time, as tensions grew in the South China Sea, many Vietnamese began seeing the U.S. as a strategic ally, a counterbalance to China's rising influence in the region. Studio Microphone, looking through different groups of Vietnamese. Older generations who lived through the war may still carry complicated feelings. For some, the U.S. is a painful memory. For others, it represents change and resilience. Middle-class and younger people see the U.S. as a place of education and opportunity, a place to pursue personal dreams. Working-class and rural communities often view the U.S. as distant but aspirational. A land of wealth, freedom, and better futures for their children. And for Vietnamese Americans, the U.S. is a second home. A land of gratitude and struggle, where identity is both renewed and challenged. Studio Microphone, Conclusion. 50 years after the war, America is no longer seen as either angel or enemy. It's a complex superpower, full of contradictions, but impossible to ignore. Vietnamese people, whether living in Vietnam or abroad, continue to look at the U.S. with a mix of caution, realism, and hope. As the world changes, so too does this relationship. But one thing remains clear: America still matters deeply in the Vietnamese imagination.